immortal faith.
So that was the trailer for the new Total War Warhammer 2 DLC, The Hunter and the Beast. It's out on September the 11th, and if I can get a discount together from Games Planet, I'll pop a link to it down in the description. There may well be a discount code to save even more. Do be sure to check that out. But yeah, I just want to make a quick video today just to kind of summarize my thoughts on it, go through some of the key information, but more importantly, confirm that 110% yes, I will be doing a Let's Play on this DLC. I'm going to start off by doing a Markus Wulfhart Let's Play on the Vortex campaign. The reason why I'm going to do it on Vortex instead of Mortal Empires is that there's quite a few unique features. Markus Wulfhart and his Lizardmen counter the Beast in this DLC, Nakai the Wanderer. Neither of them are interested in going after the Vortex, so it won't be the same as the kind of other races fighting over control of the Vortex. They have their own kind of stories within the Vortex campaign to pursue and their own objectives, and there's kind of mechanics and features to reflect that. So that's why I'm going to do that first, but definitely at some point I will cover Nakai the Wanderer either on Vortex or Mortal Empires, and I definitely will also do an Empire Let's Play because I've been holding out on doing an Empire Let's Play on Mortal Empires for quite a while now. Loads of you have been asking me to do one since Mortal Empires released, basically, and I've been holding off until the Empire faction got an overhaul, because there is an overhaul to the Empire coming alongside this DLC in an update, in a free patch. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the features that have been confirmed for that later on in this video. As for that future Mortal Empires Let's Play, I haven't quite decided if I'm going to play as Karl Franz or as Balthazar Gelt, because Gelt has now been given his own separate starting position. Also means you can now do co-op campaigns as the Empire and Mortal Empires, one playing as Franz, one playing as Gelt. So that'll be pretty interesting. I might look to do a co-op campaign with another YouTuber on that at some point. Maybe that will be my Mortal Empires campaign. We shall see. But yeah, plenty of Warhammer content coming to the channel over the next few weeks and months for sure now with this DLC. It kind of feels like being a bit starved for Warhammer content. Kind of dropping off 3K a little bit now. I'm actually eager to dive back on in, so this DLC is perfectly timed. So I'm just going to dive into some of the information that's been put on the Total War blog post for the Hunter and the Beast DLC. Also does include a bit of information about the upcoming Empire Overhaul update, but Creative Assembly haven't added in as much info about that so far. They haven't announced all the stuff that's going on with that. They said they'll go into more detail with that over the next week or so. So I'll probably do a follow-up video once they announce more information, but obviously we can speculate regarding some of the features that they have announced via this blog post. You can find it linked in the description if you want to have a read of it yourself, but obviously let me know your thoughts on all of this down in the comment section. I'll be very interested to read what you guys think on the DLC and the update. So anyway, diving in to the Hunter and the Beast kind of key features. Obviously you've got two new legendary lords. You've got Markus Wulfhart leading the Hunt Marshals Expedition, which is an Empire faction, and you've got Nakai the Wanderer, who is a massive Croxagore, and he leads the Spirit of the Jungle faction, which is a Lizardmen faction. There's two new lord types, Hunters Generals and Ancient Croxagores, and there's four new unique heroes for the Empire, which come under Wulfhart's Hunters, and we'll go through them a little bit more in a moment. There's new unique faction mechanics, quest chains, legendary items, skill trees, and campaign narratives for the Vortex campaign. Because obviously, as I've already said, neither Wulfhart nor Nakai are interested in claiming the Vortex and doing the rituals for that, so not like the other factions of the Vortex. They're similar more to the Tomb Kings and the Vampire Coast, which, even though they were situated within the Vortex campaign, weren't interested in fighting over it. So both Wulfhart and Nakai will have their own kind of narrative, their own story to follow. So it'll be interesting to see what that is. There's new units for the Empire, archers, huntsmen, and war wagons, and there's new units for the Lizardmen as well. You've got Dread Saurons, which I believe are the biggest units that Creative Assembly have ever added into a Total War game. It's the big, massive, lizardy thing chasing everyone in the trailer. There's Sacred Croxigors and Razordon hunting packs. There's also new regiments renowned for both the Empire and the Lizardmen. It's going to be released, as I said, on the 11th of September. Hopefully, I'll get early access. So if I do, then expect my Let's Play to start slightly before then, but obviously I don't know when the embargo will be just yet. But yeah, hopefully just before the 11th, if not at the very latest, part 1 of my Wulfhart Let's Play on the Vortex campaign will be on September the 11th. As already said, they're not fighting for the Vortex. Already covered new units, just going down the blog post here. So yes, new mechanics. So for Markus Wulfhart, he has Wulfhart's Hunters, and scattered throughout Lustria are 4 of the finest hunters that ever lived. Wulfhart may attempt to track them down and acquire their services to aid in the expedition's success, and subsequently developing each hunter's unique attributes and learning the tales of their past deeds. You've got Jorek Grimm, who's a brilliant master engineer, shunned for his eccentric ideas. He has struck out alone to seek his fortune in Lustria. You've got Roderick Longueuil, who was once a renowned paladin. Disgraced and exiled, however, he is haunted by a past he cannot escape. You have Hertwig van Hal, a skilled physician and witch hunter, travelled far from his home on a quest for ultimate vengeance. And you have Kalara of Wydrioth, the eminent Waystalker, has traded the forests of Avalon for the jungles of Lustria in pursuit of redemption. So it looks like you've got a dwarf, a Bretonnian paladin, an Empire witch hunter, and a wood elf Waystalker, all sort of teaming up as these unique heroes for Wulfhart. So that should be quite a powerful Avengers team you might be assembling. There's also the Emperor's Mandate faction mechanic for Wulfhart, which throughout the course of his campaign, his progress is measured by how effectively he fulfills the Emperor's Mandate. This is achieved by expansion, successful military operations, and other campaign activities, which will increase his acclaim, which is tracked on the Emperor's Mandate bar. This will dictate the quality of units available to Wulfhart via the Imperial supply system, which dispatches higher quality units than can be recruited. As the mandate bar fills, he will also unlock bonuses to further improve these units, plus higher tiered recruitment buildings not initially available to Wulfhart's faction. This also increases diplomatic tension and resentment from the Lizardmen. In the Eye of the Vortex campaign, filling the Emperor's Mandate bar will cause Nakai the Wanderer to issue a final challenge to Markus Wulfhart. With the Mortal Empires being a sandbox experience, you won't obviously get that, but I imagine that's where it will kind of culminate with this clash between Hunter and Beast. So as you progress through and gain acclaim, your Emperor's Mandate bar will fill up, and eventually then you will have a big final showdown between Wulfhart and Nakai. Hostility. Wulfhart's plundering will inevitably stir up hostility and prompt retaliation from the natives. Prolonged aggressive activities such as military actions and raiding can raise hostility through 5 levels. Conversely, a more passive approach to the campaign will cause hostility to fall. Each level has a negative effect on Wulfhart's campaign, but hostility is also a measure of his aggression against the local inhabitants. As he ascends through the hostility levels, reinforcements are dispatched more frequently via the Imperial supply system. I really like this, they've really gone for this whole expedition system. That sounds really cool. So the strength of these reinforcements is still dictated by the Emperor's Mandate bar, so you'll get reinforcements every so often, but obviously their quality will increase as you gain more acclaim for the Emperor's Mandate bar. When peak hostility is reached, a variety of penalties will be imposed on Markus, along with the dispatch of a special Lizardmen task force with the sole aim of defeating the expedition. He will instantly receive an Imperial supplies drop and will need to survive a number of turns before the hostility bar resets. Okay, yeah, that sounds like he's going to have a pretty tough time of it. I hope it's a really tough, challenging campaign, because, it's an expedition. They don't really have much of a power base. So I guess you probably will want to try and establish outposts and settlements and build up and defense, so that you can then kind of retreat back to somewhere that you can sort of shore up and rest. Going to be very interesting to see what that's like. I don't think they've covered his start position yet, so yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where he starts and what his initial objectives will be. So that's all the main faction mechanics, unique features for Wulfhart so far. Let's talk about Nakai the Wanderer. So Nakai has the Warm Blood Invaders mechanic. So in the Eye of the Vortex campaign, Nakai must fight to keep Lustria in the rightful hands of the lizardmen. Several Empire colonies have been established, and each is encroaching on the jungle. They must be dealt with. 4 extremely dangerous hunters coordinate the efforts of the Warmbloods, hunt them down to draw out their leader, and defeat them all in a final epic confrontation. So yeah, again, that's for the Vortex campaign only, and I imagine those are the 4 unique hunters that Wulfhart can request aid from. So I imagine they'll each be leading an Empire colony of some sort, or some sort of colony within Lustria. So new Horde mechanics for Nakai's faction, the Spirit of the Jungle, offers a unique variation on Horde gameplay. Each army in his faction, when placed in a camp stance, may develop its settlement infrastructure as a standard settlement would. That infrastructure is preserved when the Horde moves off, and may be further developed during future periods of encampment. If a Horde is destroyed in battle, all its infrastructure is lost along with that army. However, only Nakai's personal Horde can unlock units for recruitment. Other Hordes in his faction may then recruit unit types Nakai has unlocked using the global recruitment option. These minor Hordes still have their own infrastructure and building trees, though some of these are focused on reducing global recruitment times rather than unlocking units. So yeah, upgrading Nakai to unlock more units is going to be quite an important sort of focus for you, it would seem. These changes are designed as a quality of life improvement for Horde gameplay, unifying recruitment building choices under Nakai, saves the repetition, cost, and time that would otherwise be required to construct the same recruitment buildings across multiple Hordes. That makes sense if they are, a Horde faction. You also have the Defense of the Great Plan faction mechanic, which is Nakai begins play with a vassal faction called the Defenders of the Great Plan, the caretakers of the great temple cities. When one of Nakai's armies captures a region, it may be gifted to the defenders. When a region is gifted, Nakai must choose which old one that region's temple should be dedicated to. So it kind of sounds like they've a bit of a combination of similar to like Norska's mechanics, in that you could, when you raise a settlement, you could dedicate it to one of the chaos gods. So it looks like rather when you gift the region to your vassal, the Defenders of the Great Plan, you can dedicate which old one that region's temple should be dedicated to, and there must be obviously some rewards. As more temples are dedicated to specific old ones, the more powerful the rewards bestowed upon Nakai and his faction. There we go. These temples generate a unique resource called Old One's Favor. Nakai may expend this favor to provide assistance to his vassals through unique rights, boost the income of the vassals provide, and visibility over them, and recruit blessed spawning units or heroes and slans at higher ranks. Nice. You also got unique rights, so Nakai has a selection of a few new rights focused around his units, faction mechanics, and campaign focus. You have the Right of Allegiance. Performing this right will cause attrition to the enemies of Nakai's vassals, the Defenders of the Great Plan, when in their regions. A Right of Rebirth. This right spawns an army for Nakai's vassals, the Defenders of the Great Plan, at their capital to help protect the Lizardmen. So if your vassal is under threat, you can do that to give them a bit of a boost. And Right of Mastery. This right increases the recruitment rank of Croxigors, Sacred Croxigors, and Croxigor Ancients, while improving their weapon strength and armor. So there's also some free LC coming alongside this DLC, which is another Lizardmen Legendary Lord, Gorok, and I believe, was he start Itza? I think he will. They haven't really specified that, but I think when people were talking about whether Gorok might be in the Prophet and the Warlock DLC, when we weren't sure if it was going to be Tehenowin or not, I think people said Gorok would probably start in Itza. I believe he's the white lizard, if I'm not mistaken. So there's also alongside this a big campaign map region rework for Mortal Empires. They're bringing in Empire Fort battles. There's a new starting position for Balthazar Gelt and an Old World update for the Empire, and they've said they're going to talk a bit more about that in the next few weeks. They have given a little bit of kind of bullet point information on each of those. So campaign map region reworks. So various parts of the Mortal Empires campaign have been reworked and improved, focused mainly on regions within the Empire. You've got a new province, Solent, and regions have been added within the boundaries of the Empire. New mountain pass regions have been added between the Empire and its neighbours, complete with all new Empire fort settlement battlefields, which are similar to the High Elf gates. You've got new province and regions have been added for Albion. New Greenskin and Wood Elf factions have been added in the Drakwold and Wasteland area of the Empire. So new Empire forts. These are settlement battlefields exclusively for the new forts added in the mountain passes on the borders of the Empire. So I think that's going to be really cool to see what they look like. I hope they're a little bit more interesting than the High Elf gates, to be honest. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's gonna be really interesting. I'd hope though that they've also sort of scaled up the attacks on the Empire in the early game, because you've now got a pretty decent defensive sort of ring. Well, not ring, but you've got defensive forts around you. It looks like there's a lot more options for the Empire to, defend their territory. So I hope the pressure is stepped up as well to make it feel, pretty challenging. So as I said, Balthasar Gelt's got a new starting position. He's being moved to that new province of Solund in the south of the Empire, and he's got a new faction to command, the Golden Order. So yeah, that's pretty cool. As I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna, when I do get around to doing a Mortal Empires campaign with the Empire once this update is out, whether I'll do it with Franz or whether I'll do it with Gelt. Obviously, with each one, you can confederate and grab them both. But yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. The Golden Order, lovely. Obviously, that now means that you can do an Empire co-op, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, because one of you can play as Balthasar Gelt and the other can play as Karl Franz, as they're two separate factions. You also, Old World feature update. So what they've said so far about that is that the Empire off system is now being replaced with the new Elector Count system. This new political feature will make it possible to confederate the Empire without going to war with the other counts if you play your cards right. There's new resources of prestige and imperial authority that will be used to improve fealty with other Elector Counts via electoral machinations and imperial dilemmas, and to exert your command over the Empire. There's 13 Elector Count positions to command, including the Wastelands and Sylvania. And there'll be unique rewards, which will be Rune Fangs, and exclusive units when commanding a state's capital. And apparently the previous officer system will now be defunct in all older saves. So likely you'll be wanting to start new campaigns as the Empire. So if you're just tempted to start one as the Empire, you've just started one in the last week or so, maybe hold off, wait until this update comes out. It will come out same time as the Hunter and the Beast DLC on the 11th of September. That's all the main information on the Total War blog. If I have missed anything or I haven't really talked about anything in as much detail, then let me know down in the comment section. I will probably follow up once they show off some footage of the kind of Empire Overhaul systems rework. Hopefully that will be early next week. But yeah, let me know what you guys are looking forward to most for this DLC and the Empire update that's coming alongside it. I just want to play all of this, so I think it's safe to say there's going to be a lot of Warhammer content on the channel for the next few months, because I'm going to go through all of this. As I said, I'm going to start off with a Markus Wulfhart Vortex campaign. Depending on how kind of interesting that is within the Vortex campaign and his kind of own story, I'll then do a Nakai the Wanderer Let's Play. Whether that will be on the Vortex, as I said, will depend on how interesting and how kind of unique Wulfhart's felt. If it seems like just a straight up counter to that, then maybe we'll do Nakai on Mortal Empires. But we'll also, at some point, get around to doing a big old sort of classic Empire Mortal Empires campaign, either with Karl Franz or with the Golden Order led by Balthasar Gelt. So yeah, just wanted to run through all that and obviously let you guys know we'll be Let's Playing this. Hope you guys are looking forward to it. Let me know down in the comment section. Until the next one, ciao for now.